Weird to come up here because Jim should be here, because he's number 3, and his favorite number was number 3. I just wanted to really quickly touch on that music was crucial to Jim's psyche. It was in his genetics, it was in his every cell. It was just so very important to him. So not about every once in a while when I go up and see Jim, I made my kids and I made a playlist for him, and so I would take him for a drive, and I would turn him on and we'd play the game of what song is that, and I put the song on that Matt mentioned that he sang. What was the name of that one, John? It was Traveling Salvation Show. He sang every word. And this is when he had deteriorated quite a bit. But he sang every word. Music was that important to him and that much ingrained in his body. The one thing that I remember, though, it was so much ingrained in him that he played lots of instruments that we mentioned. But one of the things that I remember us doing was we had gone to visit my grandmother in Grass Valley, and Jim, my mom, dad, and I. And I had been into genealogy, and I wanted to, and my grandmother would never give me very much information. It was always at a standstill. I couldn't go any further. And so she was getting a little senile, so I took advantage of that, and I asked her if she, as I always did when I started, is there any information that you have that you can share with me? And she goes, oh, go in the bedroom. There's stuff in there, you can go. So Jim and I went into the bedroom, and we got under the bed and pulled out a box of letters. And I decided I was just going to take them. But I went out and I asked, and Grandma said yes, that I could take them. And I told Jim, I don't know if we should take them because we're just Nephi. We're going to go get the plates, and we're going to. I said, okay, that makes it sound like it's the right thing to do. So we took the letters home, and these were letters that were written from the relatives in Tennessee to the relatives in California, which was my grandmother and her mother. And we found names and stuff. It was a gold mine for me. Finally, I found names. And so after that, I used to stay up really late, especially on weekends, waiting for my kids to come home from their rendezvous on the weekend. And I would be on the computer looking over and over, going from cemetery to cemetery, looking for names. Today, it's a lot easier to do, but it wasn't then. And I would just toil through them looking for names. And I finally came to 4 Mile Cemetery. And there popped up all these names that were in these letters. And I was just thrilled. So I called Jim the next day and I told him, and he was ecstatic. And then my brother Mike, too, Mike got the spirit of Elijah. Remember Mike? We just got so, Jim, Steve, and excuse me, you were there too. Jim, Mike, and I got so into it. But the glorious thing about it was how excited and enthusiastic both Jim and Mike were. It was just thrilling to have them as my partners in crime. But right after that, though, Michael, when I told him, he immediately called. It was a little cemetery in a church, so they call that a graveyard, I think. He called, got contact, we found the relatives there. And that is how that whole thing, the connection with our relatives in Tennessee came about, was because of the enthusiasm of Mike and Jim. But the part I want to fuse in here is Jim's love of music. So immediately, Jim and Mike were a lot alike because they had enthusiasm like crazy. They got so excited. He says, we're going to go to Tennessee. I can't. I homeschool my kids, and I've got foster kids. I can't. Jim, I'm paying your flight. You're going. Okay, we'll go. So they made all the arrangements. We go to Tennessee. We fly into Tennessee. We rent a car. I'm in the back seat. Jim's driving, and Mike's in the front. And as we approach Sneedville, it was Sneedville, wasn't it, Mike? As we approach, just before, it's like they had it all planned and timed out. But as we approach and we see the sign Sneedville, Jim pops in the cassette of some monumental music. Mike pops out a video camera so we can put it right on the Sneedville sign because we had now come to the homeland. It was so dramatic and climatic. But Jim loved that. He just loved that there was that side of him that was very theatrical. And I'll never forget it, and I've enjoyed it all my life. We've just had so much fun together, and Oh, will he be missed? Yes, even with Alzheimer's, right, Terry? He's going to be missed because even when he had Alzheimer's, I asked him a couple of weeks ago, I said, can you name all the kids in the family? And he goes, yeah, Gary, Jimmy, Johnny, no, he didn't say Jimmy. We always have to skip one of us. And then on down the line. And then as we were walking away, he goes, Y-B-O-N-N-E, Y-B-O-N-N-E. So he knew who I was, and I thought that at that point he didn't know me, but he was just amazing, and I'm so grateful to have him in my life.